let you guys know. This is the 4th or 5th time we've started this recording. I got a kitten. Corey and I got confused. Corey's called herself Heather. I have no idea what we have said and haven't said. So we're starting over one last time.
Yeah, so welcome to the Baking It Down podcast for the 4th time today. We are your twins. We are your hosts.
And your twins.
Your twins.
We are whatever
to have
you
and
want
to
us
hold
to be.
from this day forward. What we are is a spinoff from a group on Facebook. It's called the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. What we can see is a bird's eye view of big topics, trends, things people have questions about. We can bring it to your ear holes each week on Tuesday.
And Corey wanted to talk about price versus value. Now the backstory. I'm going to repeat it back to you so we are ensured that we both said it on this edition, this version. Yeah. Corey loves watching her a Facebook Live.
Do.
Addicted. You like to watch past lives?
I don't want to pop in there when you're live.
My little sister is addicted to watching lives as they're live.
Yeah.
You'll never see me on either.
I'm a hashtag replay.
You'll see me watching a podcast turned YouTube video.
Yeah.
So everyone has their little guilty pleasures. Corey had met this lady years and years ago, many jobs ago, and at a networking event. Mm-hmm. The lady since departed from the company, and Corey finds her in a random Facebook Live, and she's selling bomb pop parties, something I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But Corey broke it down to me. Essentially, it's this. In this Facebook Live, she has a bunch of bath bombs, of which these are not safe for baths.
Apparently not.
Just bombs. Fizzy bombs. And you say, I want to purchase the next lot of 5 on this Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. In this live, she will then fizz them in a crock pot.
Yeah.
And they fizz open, and in the center is a ring. Now, most of the ring is costume jewelry. Most of the rings are, but sometimes you can purchase, and it will be a diamond ring worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But the initial purchase price is $20 per bath bomb, and you buy them in lots of 5.
Yeah.
Then they fizz out on the thing, mm-hmm. and then she mails them to you, I suppose, because you're not there. And every once in a while, and she's gotten 13 real diamonds.
Over 3 years, she's unveiled 13 real diamonds.
Yeah, this is just fascinating in general. Yeah. Because it hits that gambling part of our brain where the next
never know. It could be you.
Might be all of the diamond. But the other ones is like, okay, well, most of her business model, though, is the costume jewelry because that's what's fizzing out.
Absolutely.
Typically. I love this terminology. Yeah, that one fizzed out. This one fizzed up. So the concept being, as soon as you fizz the rings, she'll hold them up, right?
She'll hold it
Instead of saying you lost or you got a piece of costume
jewelry. You didn't get the
jewelry,
diamond.
She'll say this ring is valued at, which is set by the company she works for.
Sure.
This ring is valued at $350.
Yeah.
And the next ring will be valued at $150. So for your $100 investment, because you have to buy them $20 each, packs of 5, you could walk away with a valuation of thousands of dollars, even regardless of the fact that it's not a diamond.
That you paid $100 total.
Now you may be thinking, surely people can see right through this. The valuation and the price is so wildly different. They know that it's not truly worth $350. In the same breath, we're doing the exact same thing when we go to Ross.
Yes.
But we are easily judging the bath bombs.
We are, because if you are not
bombs.
into costume jewelry, it's easy to be like, I would never buy that. But if you love costume jewelry and you're getting a piece for $350 valued at for $20,
then you made it great savings.
What a steal.
And every sale at Bath and Body Works, every Ross and Michael's store you walk into, Marshall's, the M's get me confused.
I love me at Michael's.
Home Goods. Every sale at Target is triggering the exact same part of our brain where we're like, oh my goodness, the price is discounted, but the value was up here.
Yeah.
I must be getting something I shouldn't.
Absolutely. Going through Target, their new thing is new lower price. Above the new lower price was the old price.
We have to have the anchor because we don't know the value.
Absolutely.
Until we see the lower price.
When I see that, whatever it does to my brain, my son loves goldfish crackers. Fishies is what I call them. Apparently it's uncool to call them fishies. They're goldfish.
He's 15.
When I see new lower price and I see the higher price, the fastness that I pick that up and put it in my cart.
Saved something, right?
Yeah.
So intermittent reinforcement, like that variable reward system.
Yes.
They had 3 rats in 3 cages, and each had a button. When the rat pressed the button in the first cage, nothing came out. So the rat, every time he pressed it, nothing happened. He never pressed it again. In the second cage, the rat pressed a button every time a treat came out.
Yeah.
Every time. So he knew that whenever he wanted something, he would just press a button, and he'd press it so many times, as much as he was hungry, and then stopped when he was full.
Yeah.
In the third cage, the rat would press a button, and sometimes something would come out, and sometimes it wouldn't. He pressed it 100 more times because of that variable reward system where we didn't know we were walking into Target and seeing fishies on sale trigger something in us, right?
Yeah.
Because the value, albeit inflated now, because Target's not going to sell at a loss.
Right.
It still feels like something for us. So no, it's reverse psychology, right?
Yeah.
In bakers, we don't want to compete on, we don't want to discount, we don't want to run into that, because Corey and I were talking yesterday. Had we walked into Ross and Ross launched its own line,
Yes.
and none of it's discounted,
We'd be like,
that's not, I don't want to pay full price. I come to Ross because I want to pay a discounted price.
Yeah.
I want the price to be less than the value.
Right.
And that's where I feel like I got something I shouldn't. And that feels great. And that's that discounted strategy. Now, in baking, the race to the bottom is so low because at the bottom is Oreos and Chips Ahoy.
yeah.
Of which we cannot compete on price.
Yeah.
And we cannot compete on value because you get a whole sleeve of them
We
bad
get
boys.
92 Oreos
Triple
for
stuff.
$6.
My big Oreo, like not my big pharma, my big Oreo conspiracy is that the double stuffed is now a single stuffed, and the big stuff is just a double stuff.
The mega stuff?
Yeah, mega stuff is just a double stuff. They just said mega.
Shrinkflation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna take that one to the grave. So what Corey's saying is the opposite of that. If we're going to not compete on lowering our price, we have to compete on upping our value.
Your value. Instead of being price focused, you'll never be Oreo's pricing. But I see a lot of bakers being like, I don't feel like anyone wants to pay a higher price. I have to stay low. My price has to be the lowest because if I charge more, I won't make more sales. You're price focused. You're not a value focused sale.
I was reading about sales objections, and someone said if someone objects on price, you haven't convinced them of the value.
Yeah.
Right. So when someone's like, ooh, that's a little out of my budget, what they're saying is you haven't convinced me that my budget should rise to that price. So as bakers, how can we increase value so that we can maintain price or raise price should we need it? The cost of eggs being ever present.
Absolutely.
Reminder of it.
There's things that you can do to raise the value. Photography is a big one.
Massive and very low cost outside of the initial setup. Okay, if you buy your AE Core backers, use code SugarCookie for 20% off. Yeah. If you use your external lighting, I don't like, manufactured lighting is rough. It's hard.
It's hard.
Let's say we manage it, and then we invest in even a nice iPhone. But if we do go DSLR or mirrorless camera, okay, we got that. With just those three factors changed, your photography increases the value of a price that never shifted.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you should do this. You should take a photo, a sloppy photo with the exact same setup with a, older phone. Mm-hmm. And the photo with that Canon macro lens.
Yeah.
It's just you're going to say one of these is worth more than the other, although nothing changed but an external factor.
Yeah.
Even the quality of goods did not change. The perception of the quality of goods did.
The key word there is value is perceived. It's perceived different. I had someone that asked for a quote yesterday. Her granddaughter was the one who requested the quote, and she was fine with my pricing. She ran it by grandma, she said, and the grandma said, there's no way on this planet Earth that I'm going to pay that.
Grandma was too far removed from what convinced granddaughter that it was the right price.
But there's two people looking at my cookies. One said absolutely, one said no chance on this planet.
Right.
But there's the perceived value. She found the value, and she said, that's what I want. Yes. Grandma said, we're getting the Oreos.
So grandma's objection, whatever that was, and Corey would have to have spoken to the grandma. And that's why let me ask my husband is such a great way to get out of something. The perceived value, the objection that the grandma raised, Corey wasn't there to understand what it was and to fulfill it, right? So grandma may be very price conscious.
Yeah.
Which she likely is. They said people born in the Great Depression. Yeah, I was talking to Ruth Ann about it because they said people born in the Great Depression act very differently than people born out of economic pressures because they are constantly reminded of that time.
Yeah.
Although Ruth Ann likes to say it was 1939. She was barely in Whenever she's cheap, I point it out. But so we have grandma who's very price conscious, and then we have a daughter who's very value conscious. And whatever that objection that the daughter may had, Corey had met it. So, okay, how do we also increase value? That customer service costs you nothing. It costs you time.
Yeah.
But it is one exceptional way to increase value to maintain price or be able to raise price.
Yeah.
Great example is, it I had to call the IRS. So I hate that.
Yes.
I would rather get a wisdom tooth removed than call the IRS.
Right.
And it was like, hey, the wait time is 5 billion years. What you can do, like this automated thing was like, you can type in your number and we will return your call within 30 minutes. So I was like, ooh, absolutely sold. It's been 3 months still waiting on the call, right? They just never called back.
30 minutes, 3 months. I can see where they could get confused.
It's 30 years. You misunderstood us. So when the IRS gets your money regardless, they do not have to try to earn your money.
No.
So they do not care about customer service. That's a great example of what we need to do the opposite of, because cookies are such
a luxury
item. IRS have to pay. Cookies don't need to
Yeah.
pay, right? Cookies is a gift, definitely don't need to pay. Cookies is a really expensive custom gift that we have to earn. So this customer service, photography, again, nothing about your bakes change, nothing about your costs change aside of maybe the investing in a camera and maybe a photo backdrop. Then we have customer service. What changes there? You got ChatGPT. It's free to use right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not good at customer service, you don't know what to say there, even AI can kind of give you the leg up.
Yeah.
That quick response time, that following up, that getting to them, reminding them of their pickup before they have to ask you if you remembered.
Right. If I go into the Target's cookie section and I approach the Oreo section of the cookie aisle, there's no one there that I could ask a question to. Hey, is there any artificial food coloring in there? No one's there. Their price reflects zero customer service.
If you go down IKEA and you read their aprons, like if you go to IKEA, nobody talks to you. And you're like, that's kind of weird. In a land that's made to be a maze, you think there would be an assistant. No, but if you read their aprons, sure, it's front and back. It was like, to keep our costs low, we do not offer assistance unless you ask for it.
Yeah.
And so great, because IKEA's competing on price.
Absolutely.
So they're like, we're going to tell you the things that keep this cheaper. Now, we're not competing on price. The bakers should not be competing on price because, again, you're not going to get down to Oreo and Chips Ahoy level. So we need to compete on value. So instead of saying we're not talking to you to save on money, we are talking to you so that we can charge you this much.
Yeah, we're going to guide you. Every question you have is going to be answered fully and completely. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. Anything you have, send it my way and I will get you an answer.
That's a very increase in value. When you always, like hotels are so wild to me. When I have to book a hotel, I'm always like left with the thought that every single human has to plug off and turn off at the end of the day. Like hotel as a business model is genius because everybody's got to sleep. Yeah. Like you can't not sleep. So what makes a difference between the hotel that was $50 a night and then our little sister's going to some spa this month? So I was looking up the prices of the rooms to see how much, because I knew the place was more expensive. And we were going through, and she was splitting the room 4 ways for one night, and each of them was paying $200. It was an $800 room.
Wow.
But the rooms per night went up to $6,000.
That's insane.
All you needed was the bed and a toilet. A toilet, right?
There's a place for someone to sleep who's focused on price. And there's a place for someone to sleep who's focused on value.
Person sleeping based on price gets a little bed bug friend. So then, okay, what makes that hotel say, oh, I can charge $6,000 a night? Well, it was I guarantee you're not touching your luggage there.
I think someone is taking it from your vehicle to your room.
I guarantee you have a dedicated concierge. I guarantee you that somebody is bringing food to your room. So there's that value added for something arbitrary. At the end of the day, you only needed the bed, right? At the end of the day, they only needed a cookie. How can we make this cookie the presidential suite of cookies?
Yeah. What I see, and the hardest thing for some bakers are the first or they're the number one in their area. They're number one because they have no competition. No one's caught on to the royal icing sugar cookie bakers. So whatever level they give, their customers have been fine with. There was no other option. What I see when someone pops up, another baker pops up in the same area, that baker who has not been the best at providing the value, the customer service, the photographies, whatever, start saying, I think this area is oversaturated.
But in reality, what it should be is when competition moves in, the market gets better, because now the baker who was able to sit back and just charge whatever, this kitten, I wanted this specific kitten, right?
Yeah.
Corey and I were saying it was hard to get.
It was very hard to get.
The lady who was selling the kitten, she was like crazy, just wild.
She was non-communicative.
She was sporadic. She was very...
Wasted my time. Forgot my name a million times.
Pretty sure she was wasted most of the time.
For sure.
Right? And Corey and I were standing there knocking on her door at 8 a.m. She would not give us a time to meet. We drove down and we drove 20 hours. I had to buy a hotel. I had to buy food. I had to, buy all these things. And we're standing outside her door at 8 a.m. and she was like, I'm not out of bed yet. Like we had asked, she said, show up whenever time. And then we're standing there. I said, Corey said, this is proof that low competition allows businesses to get sloppy and there's nothing the consumer can do.
Yeah.
Okay, now reverse it. Now we got a cookier who's got competition. What do both cookiers have to do? Sharpen.
They have to sharpen.
Right.
And it's great for your industry. It sucks.
It's actually great. It's great for your business because we get a little lackadaisical and we get lazy and we sit back and we're like, it's fine. Corey and I were working on the website redesign, right? And I said to her, I'm disappointed in myself because I got sloppy, because I didn't see much competition. Had I done this effort 4 years ago, where would we be now?
Absolutely.
Right. So competition does sharpen the blades of everyone. Cutthroat.
It does.
But back to the value, the increasing value, that's where all the chess pieces need to move first before we look at that price.
Yes. A lot of bakers will be like, I'm not making sales. I have to lower my price. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying I have to lower my price, what if you say I have to up my value?
The
value,
I would rather up my value before I lowered my price.
Well, you can't bake for free. It's a race to the bottom when you keep lowering your price. You could be charging $0 and be booked out for sure, but you're going to quit.
Yeah. What I was saying to Corey the other day was that when somebody, I'm just rounding it up. You're charging $80 a dozen.
Yeah.
For the person down the street charging $40 a dozen, well, they're half the price of Corey. Great. I'll definitely use them. To secure every lead, they have to work twice as hard.
They do.
Because for every $80 Corey sells, they have to sell to 2 people, right? The cost of reaching one person is high. The cost of reaching 2 people is higher. Now we have double the amount of work for the same amount of cookie.
Money.
We have double the amount of customer service. We have double the amount of invoicing. We have double the amount of communication.
Yeah.
But Corey only had to do it once. Okay. So you say, well, I'm going to compete on price because they're probably going to come to me before they come to Corey, right? All things considered. No, she's going to compete on value. You're competing on price. Corey's got better photos.
I have better photos.
You're competing on price. Corey's got better time management because she doesn't have to take so many orders.
I can give you better customer service. You are my client. For her 2 clients where she's going back and forth with 2 different people, I have one. You're my main man.
And then we have that caveat, that underlying thing is that the person who has the budget for the $80 is not so particular as a person who doesn't have the budget for the $40, and this is a lot to them.
Yeah.
So now
$40.
These 2 customers, potentially like, this is a big deal for me, they're going to be high maintenance. Whereas Corey has one, even if this one customer is high maintenance, she has double the amount of time to allocate.
But you might be saying, for the person who's charging $40, that's a steal. Compared to me, it's a steal. But there's another baker out there who's charging half of $40. They're charging $20.
So we all going to need to charge $19?
Do you see?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The person that's charging $40, that person who chose them and avoided the person who was charging $20 because they were booked, of course they're booked. They're the cheapest baker. They're having to provide so much customer service because you're the top end of the person with the lowest budgets baker.
Now there's a third factor to consider when you decide to compete on price is I don't order the cheapest thing. I don't want to order the most expensive, and I'm a middle-of-the-road guy. I'm never going to go to the cheapest because I feel like something's wrong.
Something I preach to Heather is there is no value in free.
Yeah. I had networking events.
Yeah.
My little sister had to go to one, and she didn't want to go. It was free to attend, right? So all these people are registered. Half the people show up. Well, it was free to attend. There's no value. They lost nothing by not going.
Right.
And they gained nothing by not going, right?
Yeah.
Because it was free. I had gone to this, back a couple jobs ago. I had to go to these networking events. And this person said, hey, it's $100 to go. But they said, but when you get there, we give you the $100 back. So it now had a cost. If I don't go, the price of this is $100, but if I do go, it's the price of free. And I thought that was a great manipulation of it's free to attend, but it's not costless to attend.
Yeah.
To not attend.
It's so easy to be like, there's no value in free. There's also less value in being the cheapest person. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to conceptualize, is $20 $0? No, it's not. But $0 is $0. I was telling Heather, I'm in a lot of these buy nothing, sell nothing groups. They're popular. I love to give stuff away, but I'm not a good reseller. I will give something that has value. It will have a Marshall stickers on there, $4.99. So it's worth $4.99 is what I paid. I'll set it out for free. They'll never show.
The fact that you're giving something away with a tag still on it is wild.
I found a cup. It has cats on it. I was like, I see why I liked it. But I can give it away. The people will never show up. It's the biggest problem in the buy nothing, sell nothing group because there's no value there.
Absolutely. But now, listen, say it was $4.99, I'm selling it for $3.99, and you don't have it out when that person shows up, you can get a bad review on your marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why the baker that always is focused on being the lowest price, that if you didn't make a sale, I feel like I got to lower my price, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Because you're creating a ton more work, the same amount of effort, and half the money.
Yeah, focusing on the value. So when the lady unveils this ring from the fizzy water, she never says $20, look what it got you. She says, wow, valued at $350.
And there's the key. The valued at, even though you didn't win the diamond ring, right? Which was a real gimmick, I think,
for sure.
Here. You still got something valued at so much more than you thought it was, than you paid.
Yeah.
Right. And that's that kind of reverse psychology of the valued at. So Corey and I were saying, you go into Ross because you want the deal. You want the thing you wanted, but you want it cheaper than it was.
Yeah.
And that's why Ross is so great about price anchoring. They'll put any label on a thing, they'll strike it out, and they'll put a cheaper price because that is their business model.
Yeah.
Corey and I said, what if we walked in and Ross is like, we're making our own merchandise. None of it's on sale. We're pricing it competitively, which JCPenney did, right?
Yeah.
JCPenney, who is known for that discount, bring in your coupons, the competing on price. JCPenney said, we don't want to play games anymore. We're just going to price it as it is. And they hemorrhaged sales.
They did.
Because you see, they cultivated an audience and said, we only want you to compete on price. Now the baker who wants to do that, you'll be out of business soon enough because the cost of eggs has increased.
There was once a few years ago a baker that you helped in sugar cookie marketing. And I want you to retell the story.
I know exactly what you're going to do.
Okay, I want you to say the story.
She had said, I'm so booked out. I don't agree with the fact that you're saying raise your prices. And I was like, okay. And I said that I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Are you working late into the night? She said, yes. I said, when was the last time you had a day with your kids? And she's like, I can't remember. And I said, and that's the reason we don't compete on price. So if you trust me and you would raise your price, you will see a loss in the customers that you've cultivated currently, but you're going to gain a new customer set and you're going to be able to see your kids. A couple of years later, she was like, yeah, that absolutely was it. I was competing on price and I was burning at both ends and I was miserable. And now I'm able to increase my value, increase my price, and I'm able to lead the life I want.
Yeah. A lot of bakers question what Heather just said because when you've cultivated an audience who is price centric and you say, I'm no longer price centric, I'm burning at both ends, I'm getting ready to burn out and quit this whole thing, and you switch to a value conscious buyer, there is going to be a little drop off because this pricing audience obviously wants the lowest price. You have built this audience on the lowest price buyer. So when you raise your value and you raise your price, these people fall off and you get a new segmented audience that sees the value.
I'm gonna run this test.
Sure.
I had written this post a couple of years ago. I should have posted it. If I told you there's a car that was $80,000 and a car that was $10,000, which car is nicer?
$80,000.
But you don't know anything about the cars. You just know that the higher priced car is going to be nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't apply that to cookies.
It's so easy as a consumer to see it. As a business owner, though, we're like, if we're not the lowest price, it comes down to being, it's hard to be confident in everything, especially business.
Yeah, that imposter syndrome is that little guy in the back of your head saying,
he's sitting
that's
there
$5 a
chit-chatting to me every single day. If you can look at your business as a math problem, I can't charge under $80 because if I charge under $80, I'm suffering. I'm not. But if I believe that I'm suffering for charging under $80, the lady who told me my cookies were way too expensive yesterday would have taken me to my knees.
Right.
I would have been guessing, I got to do something, my pricing, it's wrong.
I was listening to this podcast on like self-esteem and they're like, there's internal, there's self-esteem, and then there's others' esteem. And they said a lot of people who have low self-esteem suffer from other esteem, meaning I only value myself when you value me.
Yeah.
Right. But their problem is they're like, people don't value you when you don't value yourself. Same with the cookies, right? If I don't believe that my cookies are worth the invoice I just sent you, you're going to pick up on that. And when you say, well, I don't think they're worth this, I'm going to capitulate and be like, they're not.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh, here's a discount. If I'm like, Corey, listen, for you to pass this up, and I book out 2 weeks out, and I would love to bake for you, but I only have so much time.
Yeah.
And this is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to knock this out of the park. In fact, I've actually already did. Look at all these other photos I've done. You'd be, if I have that confidence, I know my value proposition is there. I know my price is matched. It's in line with that, in line with the customer service, with the photography, with the everything you're going to get, the ease of ordering, the safe feeling you're going to get. then I'm self-esteem.
Yeah.
My cookies are absolutely, they're worth that.
If
And then you're going to pick up on that as a buyer and saying, you book out 2 weeks out.
If you're a new baker and you're listening to this podcast, you might be coming to the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group and be like, what would you pay for this? That tells me you do not have pricing confidence. And that's where we all started. So don't feel like you're any way different.
It's wild to produce something and know you're charging your time, your cost, your indirect cost, and profit, and then tell somebody to pay that. Like, you literally got into it because you didn't want to pay somebody else's price.
Absolutely. So for a baker to question their pricing is so common. There's a website called cakecost.net. It is a great foundational place where you input the cost of your ingredients, your hourly wage, and it spits out a number to you. It's a math problem. There's no feeling involved, and that is a great way to start getting pricing confidence. And pricing confidence is going to be the difference from you always second guessing, lowering your price because you feel like you're not getting enough sales, to confidently saying, Heather, yeah, I can bake that for you. It'll be $80 a dozen. Would you like to go ahead and schedule that? And I'll book you on the calendar. I'm going to send you the link to pay. Once it's paid, you are secured.
In the land of websites, Corey and I, now they're website builders. You could go to Fiverr. You can get all these and Corey, I would be in these groups, just like there's groups for cookies, there's groups for web developers.
Yeah.
And someone would be like, why would I charge $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 when they could get it for $300 somewhere else? And I was like, because they're not paying for the website, they're paying for everything around the website. Because Corey and I have had clients who are just, they treat us like their diaries with changes and thoughts. And I'm like, you're not paying for the website. You're paying for me to listen to you.
Absolutely.
You're paying for me to let you change the color 50 times.
Yeah.
You're paying for me to let you switch all the pictures. And for that, I'm going to charge accordingly because my value is different than the cost of a website.
Yes.
The cost of a website could be $300.
Yeah.
But the value I'm going to bring to you with this, you're going to have somebody who explains. You're going to have somebody who's going to be open to talking to you. You're going to have somebody who's going to implement the changes in an effective time span. You're going to have somebody who's going to offer you extra things. And I'm going to charge accordingly.
Yeah.
So the baker's like, but the cookies, they could get the Oreos. We don't care. That's not what we're doing. We're pricing based off of the value that we provide. The same way the ring lady in her Tupperware. What was it? A crock pot.
Crock pot. Here's what Warren Buffett said. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get.
Right. And I want a high value, whatever that, and I'll never be able to stay at a $6,000 a night presidential suite.
No.
But whatever that is, I think I'd be floored. And I'd be like, this is outside my even, what I could think was available.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're competing on value. Yeah, you can pay nothing and sleep in a mattress in a cardboard box outside, but that's not what you're here for. You're here for this value.
Right. As luxury item bakers, which if you're baking custom sets that match someone's invitation to their child's
Custom
first birthday,
printed cookie cutters and dye-free options.
Yeah. You don't have the opportunity to compete on price. You are a luxury item. Your life will be hellish if you're always focused on making sure you're priced the lowest.
And still a luxury item because the item didn't change. It's still a luxury item. You've priced so low it shouldn't be luxury anymore, but it has to be because it's custom made.
You might think, Corey, doesn't it irk you that someone's charging $40 and you're charging $80 for a dozen? No, I love it. That price anchor there, because Heather says,
I would say let's pretend I'm the customer. Corey's charging $80 and this lady's charging $40. I'm either saving $40 or I'm losing 50% of the value. And if I lose 50% of the value, where is that going to be? Is she not going to follow up with me? Is she going to forget my order? Is she going to package it ugly?
Is the cookies not taste as good? You don't know.
Right. I don't know. But I value is perceived. I perceived that going at half price is going to get me half the value because I'm paying 50% less.
I'm going to tell you, me and the $40 lady, we're both going to be booked, blessed, and busy.
She's going to be booked twice. She's going to be twice as busy.
Twice as busy. But I'm going to be able to work twice as less for the same amount of money. Twice as less? Twice as fewer?
Least
That's definitely not the correct one.
Twice as, not as much as the other. The gas station on the street is priced, if it's $3.50 for somebody, it's $2.90 there.
Yeah.
The line is out the door around, and I think you think I'm sarcastic.
No.
If you can't, everyone knows this Burke gas station.
I know exactly where it is.
Express Stop.
Yes.
It's not express at all because it is very
It's the
slow.
opposite of express.
There's so many lines. Because of the illegal U-turns to beat the line, there's now a police station there.
I like to express my frustration with the backup costs.
It is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
The place, nothing has been cleaned. When you touch a gas pump and you're like, I need to burn this hand up.
Yeah.
That is that gas pump.
sure.
Never does it print a receipt. You have to go talk to somebody. It does not have a convenience store. It has that one where the guy's guarded by 50.
It's like a
pieces
square.
of glass.
He can just see the square.
Yeah, and I think and it's all faded and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they run out of gas all the time but you're like, wow, they must be successful. The guy that works there never smiles. He is not happy. He is stressed.
He is putting out, not literal fires. That would be bad. He's putting out customer complaints. Where's my receipt?
And he's dealing
Why
with
is
so
it-
many customers
Yeah.
who all have complaints. Now, up the street is Don's Exxon.
Done.
There's never a line. It's triple the price. There's nobody there. I go up there because I don't have to wait. It's all clean. It sings a song when I put my gas in the thing. You can get rewards points. I hate those questions before you pump. But I never have to wait. It's very clean. It's very organized. The pumps are never out of gas. I can guarantee it. And then there is a convenience store, and there's actually a mechanic shop because it's able to sustain that because the gas prices are higher. That allows that business to be a more luxury experience.
You have the luxury feeling, the luxury walk-in, the luxury clean bathroom.
Unless it's a Buc-ee's, it's not a luxury gas
Listen,
station.
yeah,
but
everything's said to us. Here's the thing: as a baker, it's so easy to question everything. That comes down to you. But if we turn that focus on, I'm not as good as the person down the street, so I can't charge what they charge.
you can increase your value.
Increase your value. A website that makes it easy to order, that's value increased right there.
Yeah, and it gives me like peace of mind. Somebody today, we had a no stupid questions thread in our group. Someone's like, pros and cons of website. I said, cons, upkeep and cost. Pros, everything else.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that is that value added thing where it's not even tangible.
Yeah.
I can't eat it.
You
I was
might
buying cookies.
be just as good as customer service. A lot of bakers, when they start off, will take orders via DM.
And that's an easy way to start.
As someone, I love online shopping and I love to support small business.
I know.
Sometimes when I support a small business and I can't, there's no website, I feel like, are you going to take my money and I'm not going to get what I ordered?
Well, I go to Amazon.
Yeah.
And if it has 50,000 reviews, I will buy
I'm
it.
pretty safe.
If it has 3 reviews, I won't buy it.
What a website does is provide a sense of confidence and value to your customers.
That at Gmail versus the at mixingbowlcookieco.com email is another one of those value added. Where this person is so invested, being registered with your state, getting your certification if your cottage law requires it, getting those 5-star reviews on Google are all ways you're.
I'm so
doing your
sorry. I
hand,
did
and
not
now
know
he's
that.
seen
I did not know that.
it.
He's doing good. He's doing good.
Okay,
No,
well,
there's ways to add value. Sometimes I feel like I'm like at the tippity top of my decorating style. Like my decorating journey can't get any higher. I've capped out.
You're that good.
It's not even that good. It's
your
just
skill
good
set's
for
been maxed.
myself.
Back it up, boys.
So I'm never going to be good at watercolor because I don't like to do it. It's just not.
And now somebody else can add watercolor and compete on value.
Absolutely.
Even though you may be like, well, Corey's increased her value so much, she's not willing to increase her skill set, and that gives somebody else more opportunity.
But where I can focus on is things like my website. It's things like my customer service. It's my photography. It's responding to reviews. It's responding to comments. It's being visual on all the platforms instead of starting an Instagram and like letting it go by the wayside. And someone's like, is she still in business? I don't know.
Nothing says, I don't care, like the timestamp saying 2022.
Yeah. So there's value outside of being the best decorator. So a lot of people are like,
And it levels the playing field.
It does.
And
it does.
Corey and I said, thank goodness there's other ways to compete because the best of the best,
Oh,
you can't get to them.
I know, and I feel like we're surrounded by the best of the best bakers, unfortunately for me.
But they take off a lot and they don't
Yeah.
add the value because they can add the value different ways.
Right.
And that's what makes competition so valuable.
If we're always focused on value, price is never going to be a factor.
Absolutely. If we are always focused on price, value will be an issue.
Yes, for sure. For
Corey's
sure.
woken the beast.
I'm so sorry. I just was playing with my
You
hands.
little fidgeter.
I'm
He
so
couldn't get
sorry.
away from
Okay,
it.
keep going. If you give him, see, you looked.
I didn't even
You
make eye contact.
made
I
eye
never saw his body.
contact. He
I never
heard
saw
a
his
creak in the chair, and that's all he needed to
Okay, guys,
hear.
we're going to power through this. If I have to
Okay,
pause
all
it
right.
again. Well, so we're going to their stupid questions. We
Stupid
just didn't
questions.
know such thing as stupid questions. These are stupid questions.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you text into 571-556-5644, you have the chance to win a stupid card tray. And if you don't win, use code SUGAR at checkout for 15% off.
Nice.
We have a lot of texts this time.
Nice. How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I think I chose 9 last time.
And somebody was trying to manage like
I feel in 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay. It's a text and message. If your area code starts in 281.
281.
281.
I feel like that's got to be Oregon.
281. You think Oregon? It is Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, text me or email me, Heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. The rest of your, he's climbing up my check and Phil.
Yes.
The rest of your phone number, and I'll hook you up with Phil from Stupid Car Drive.
Nice.
Hi, twins. A while back, you mentioned that you were hiring a new accountant. 1, why did you decide to switch? 2, what kinds of things were you asking the new person during the interview process? Thank you so much for your help. I can answer this one because Corey did not attend that.
I know why we lost the first one.
Our first accountant, in the terms of the marketing of this podcast, right? Extremely low value and high price. And when those two things are switched, you create unhappy customers.
I want to set up when we first started business.
Corey feels obligated because Corey picked her.
When we first started working, I want to say 8 years ago now, she started with us because we said we knew we needed an accountant. We wanted an accountant. Me and Heather are not good at numbers. We also don't want to end up in jail.
Turns out we were getting pretty close.
Yeah.
She, over time, due to life stresses and changes in life, had gotten real sloppy in terms of running her business.
Real sloppy. The price increased. The value decreased.
Fewer calls at the point, unfortunately, with QuickBooks. I had no idea. I could log in and see how many times she logged in.
Yeah.
And it was 3 times in the year. But she was real quick at sending that invoice. And then I started receiving IRS fines, meaning that she hadn't filed things correctly. Right. So that was getting bad. And then got referred to this other accountant who was so busy because he was so good. He didn't need new clients.
I know.
He took a risk.
Do you see how he was so busy? We were like, I want to be with the busy guy. And he's got to be good because he's busy.
Yeah, the wild part is that he's cheaper than the lady. And you know, Corey and I have this like PTSD. I have this anxiety around talking to accountants.
Yeah.
Baptism by fire. This guy calls all the time.
Yeah.
But she never called, and I had the anxiety saying like, I don't think you're doing your job right. But when the IRS started calling, I guess you can say, you know, these like late fees, and you know, it turns out the IRS had stopped sending mailed letters during COVID.
Yeah.
So they all just started piling up. Anyways, with this new accountant, I sat down. I said, here's the things. Also, they were interviewing me because they said, we're not going to take you on right yet unless we feel like this is a good fit. So he said, here's the thing. I would like to never hear from the IRS. I don't want a late fee. I don't want a threat of a late fee. I want everything to be filed on time. And a big thing I don't want is filed extensions. And he was like, oh, we'd fire you if you asked us to file an extension.
And I said, oh, wow.
Where this other lady only had filed extensions, which you can file them and you can, you know, it just really threw off my personal taxes. Yeah. And I said, another thing I want you to do my personal taxes in conjunction with the business taxes because they are related. And he said there was never an option that we wouldn't have done that. In fact, we do not want you to start touching your own taxes because everyone always messes those up.
Absolutely. And you
had me at hello.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The accountant had gotten in bed with the wrong set of people. Old accountant had gotten in bed with the wrong set of people, and they mismanaged some funds for us. Retirement funds.
That's what led to this whole thing.
It sent up a red flag. So Heather was like, hey, accountant, there's a red flag over here. And the accountant covered for this red flag.
And I said, oh, no, they've covered. She was supposed to be our ally and said she covered the other people.
I know.
So my bad, but, you know, granted, rather find it now than 5 years, I guess. So I went back through. There was a lot of mismanagement of paying taxes and stuff like that. And this new company said, here's exactly, their process was so great. Their communication, their value was so on top of it. They're out of state, actually.
Can I mention the late IRS bill that we were charged with?
No. I don't even want to talk about that. I'm still trying to recover from it. But the big thing was... And that's the interesting part. They're in a very rural area, the new accountant. Mm-hmm. The old accountant is in our area with this high cost of living, and that's why the prices are different.
Yeah.
So we were able to get that, what feels like a discount to us, which is actually a very high price where they are. We were able to get better value and lower price, which is one of the few instances where lower price and value were indirectly related.
Yeah. Because
they were out of state. So, you know, and I hate to mention this, I'm not well versed in accounting and bookkeeping, and I don't know with licensure. Like for the retirement manager, he had to get licensed in our state.
Yeah.
But the accountant was like, I can work wherever I want. So considering that, hiring an accountant because of their value, regardless of where they're at, was actually a better fit for us.
Yeah, it was.
Granted, we're not doing face-to-face as much, but Zoom kind of solves that completely.
True.
And I don't really think we need to do face-to-face. I don't want to
Listen, I don't know anymore. If I hear the word accountant, IRS.
I know. Yeah, but anyways, it's been solved, or we're in the final stage of it getting solved. But this is a great question. And the big takeaway, what I've learned here, is get in bed with the right people. Get in bed, and then, I said, and then what I would like is to talk to you guys once a quarter, which is 4 times more than I was talking to the last person.
Right.
And they're like, yo, we can do that more or less. But yeah, absolutely. We expect you to reply to us. So both of us, they took us on. They didn't really have that much.
Thank you.
So yeah, I would say that interviewing thing, and the new account was like, it's funny. I know why you guys stayed with the old account, although it was not a great fit. He said people will get divorced before they switch accountants because I know so much about your life.
Yeah.
There's so much paperwork. There's so much transition here. And he was like, but you got to say what's best for me, what's best for my business.
If we tie that back into the podcast topic, there became less value
Over time.
And you're like, but she was still, no, the price was increasing.
Here's the thing. Price wouldn't have been an objection if
It wouldn't
value
have
had
been.
been maintained.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
didn't even want increased value. I wanted the value I signed on with.
We would have stayed with her because you're right. It was a hassle to switch accountants. It was a hassle.
Yeah, you didn't even do it. It's been just
How many things came to
insurmountable.
me to sign was even annoying for me.
Yeah. So yeah, my big thing is, if it smells bad and it looks bad and it sounds bad, it probably is. So do some investigating.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back in time. And then I would say stay on top of communication, even if the service provider isn't, because that'll flag a lot of issues.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish she talked over us for the fact we're not
It's so
accountants.
funny. When that first red flag popped up, I called Corey and I said, I think they brushed over something they had to tell me. That is such a problem that they don't want me to realize it.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to act real stupid, not hard for me, just coming at that level anyways. And I said, I'm going to see if I can get them to admit that this is as big as I think it is.
Yeah.
Which, here's what, we had retirement contributions. They just forgot to do it for years. But we had told the IRS we had made these retirement contributions. And
so
they'd
we
never been
lied to
invested.
the IRS and it had never been done.
And then so anyways, I was just so crazy. I acted so stupid and then they admitted it. And I said, just real quick here.
Apparently, it was so egregious.
And then it's an SEC complaint filing and they could lose their license. So we'll be doing that next, which is crazy. And so my takeaway, and these are great questions, almost slightly embarrassing. If I'm
It is
honest.
embarrassing, but I mean, me and Heather are embarrassing people
Hey,
anyways.
fail forward, buddy. And now we got this really great account.
Learn from us.
Find somebody, interview them again, interview them every year. And what I wish we'd done with the old accountant is like, what's the strategy? What's your plan for us this year?
Yeah.
Instead of just being like,
It was definitely passive, not a, there was no active thing.
yeah, a little bit you sign on to do these jobs and you're like, I just want to do the job. I don't want to do this admin stuff.
Yeah.
It's so exhausting. I don't understand it. But it's your business.
Right.
You got to be a part of business.
Right.
Another one, not a winner, but you can text in next week.
You're a winner in our hearts.
Winner in our hearts, not in our podcast. Hi, twins. Thank you so much for all you do. I love the podcast, the Facebook page, and the Cookie College. My name's Carolyn from Carolyn's Cakes in Ohio. I have a stupid question and would love a stupid commentary. Carolyn, text in again next week. My question is about renaming and rebranding my business. I know that you have done an entire podcast on rebranding, but I'm still not feeling confident enough to make the jump. Every time I start to make some change, I realize everything I'll have to change, and then I completely get overwhelmed and shut it down. My question is this: in what order should I make these changes? Business name with the state, website, email address, bakery license, insurance, social media, etc. Will I get in trouble if these things do not line up and something happens? Or do I need to make sure, and like if I'm needed to make an insurance claim, which by the way, I've never had to do. The funny thing is I decided over a year ago that I don't want to make cakes anymore, but since it's in my name, I just keep making them. I literally just want to change one letter and go from Carolyn's Cakes to Carolyn's Bakes. How's that for stupid?
I want to say that's an easy name switch though.
It's an
as
easy,
far as remembering.
Yeah, because I'd be like, I thought it was cakes. I guess
Yeah.
it was cakes. Okay, here's what I would do in this order. Legal and business first.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones that, like you said, if you make a claim and they're like, we don't know Carolyn's Bakes, we only know Carolyn's Cakes, I would go and change the name with the state.
Yeah.
If that's a DBA, again, I would get a CPA involved.
Yeah.
Like we just admitted, get them because they're going to know exactly the business side of things. I would get the CPA involved, and then I would file with the state and change the name. If that's a DBA or a new entity, the CPA is going to be able to guide you.
Yeah.
Of which that lady did help us at that time.
She did.
And then I'd go tell insurance. If you have an insurance policy, I would contact the broker or the person that's written the policy and say, I'm changing my name.
Yeah.
Please update this policy and send me the updated policy.
Yes.
Then I'd go to the state licensure. This is, and say, there's probably a point of contact there. I know
For
some
sure.
states are rough. Some states don't have any. You guys got your community groups for a locality and see if that. So I have this business license. I want to change my name. Okay, so then we got the legal stuff out of it.
Yes.
Now everything else we can kind of play with.
Now it's a little bit of a marketing.
Right
thing.
off the bat, I would go reserve the domain name. We don't have to use it yet.
No.
We could do that now because you're so close to what you were.
Yeah.
You're not relocating your place. I would make that page announcement. And Corey and I, this is kind of where that podcast trips in. I would make that page announcement that you're making a small change in your name. That you can bake more than just cakes. Again, we didn't say, I'm never baking cakes. We're saying we're introducing more products. We're not telling them we're phasing out cakes, but we're going to start because you're going to say, I don't want to take that order.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow transition.
We don't want to be like, no, I don't take cakes. And all these people are like, but you're Carolyn's Cakes.
Yeah.
We're going to be Carolyn's mentally, Cakes and Bakes. Then we're going to be Carolyn's Bakes and Cakes. And then one day we're going to be Carolyn's Cakes, Bakes, and No Cakes.
Yes.
And you're going to do that gradually. Now, what I would do is I would post about it multiple times.
Right.
I would let people into here's the old logo, here's a new logo.
Yeah.
And then I'd update my branding and my page name. And that's going to kill off kind of any of those old tags if there's a URL there, because you're going to change the URL. And then I would have that new website. I'd have the old domain redirect to the new website. So again, people who think it's Carolyn's Cakes are just taken to Carolyn's Bakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would do that. That's a great question. It is extremely overwhelming to
It is
rebrand.
overwhelming, but you're lucky that your name is so similar and you're not moving.
Corey did a completely giant name change. Did you notice a curb in your orders?
I did.
Yeah, you had to.
I did.
Because her name was so different. Carolyn's going to still populate something.
Yes.
So you're pretty, in terms of rebranding,
You're in
the
a good
safest
spot.
one.
Yeah.
Corey had to do a complete one. She was the crumble.
The crumbed cookies, which was very near crumble cookies. I was getting...
So Corey's like, I'm losing more sales, or like, wish she got a bad review from somebody from like Iowa who went to a crumble cookie, didn't like the flavor. Corey's like, it's going to end up costing me more in time and management than the stress of switching the name. So then we had to do it. And then we did it in that way.
And it was slow. It took, I want to say it was a 9-month switch-a-roonski.
Some of these things will be quick, some of these things, but that brand, the rebranding, I say give people time to acquaint themselves, to relearn it. Get involved in your community groups before you make the switch. So when you say, hey guys, you can let them in on it. When you make your sales post that Saturday, guys, I want to let you know I'm giving up cakes and I'm baking more. Like, I wouldn't say I'm never baking cakes. I would just stop taking those orders as they come in. And as you supplement with these new orders,
you're going to phase out in your social media content and your website content. Cakes are going to phase out.
You're going to say, but everyone orders cakes from me. How can I phase them out? Corey's test bakes. And that's going to be a great way to be like, hey guys, I made some rice. Let's say you want to make sugar cookies or Rice Krispie treats. Hey, local community group. It's free. I'm looking for some taste testers. I'm Carolyn's Bakes, and I'm offering Rice Krispie treats. I would love for you guys to come try it. Now you've introduced a new product to your audience that's very conditioned for your cakes, but now they can be conditioned to your bakes.
It's doable. It's
doable. I would not shirk from that one.
Yeah.
There's some I would shirk from, which would be Corey's, but she made me do it.
We had to.
Hi, ladies. Sammy from Kodak, Tennessee, home of Buc-ee's.
No way!
Just wanted you to know that I hardly ever go to Buc-ee's, but I had to go while listening to your last podcast, so thanks a lot. LOL. Thank you for all you do for us.
The power of persuasion.
Buc-ee's. Okay, one more. Hello, twins. I swear I had some questions, but now that I'm actually here, I can't really remember what they are. Okay. Same thing happens when I go to write copy. I feel like I have something great, and then poof, it's gone. Anywho, maybe Corey will pick me for the stupid card trade. Fingers crossed. Thank you for all you do, and I can't get enough of the podcast. Your theme song should be Mike and the Mechanics. All I need is a miracle.
That's hilarious.
It's great. So, guys, if you want to enter in to win a stupid card tray, your odds are ever great. Corey may pick a low number. Okay. Do you think he'll pick a high number next? Probably. High number.
A higher number.
If it were me, I may text in a couple times and show us the higher number. So you would, if you're listening to this podcast, you want to be towards a higher number, you would text in earlier in the week.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you would listen to this podcast and text in today. Because then you'd be the highest number that you
could
possibly
interesting.
pick.
That's how, instead of it...
Yeah, counting from most recent to oldest.
Oh, nice.
So when you pick a high number, you're picking the oldest text. When you pick a low number, you're picking a text.
Okay, good.
Last text came in at 9:39.
Like that strategy. Right. If you are like, I don't want to play the Corey and Heather stupid card tray game, stupid questions game, you can use the code, what is it? Sugar.
Sugar. 15% off, stackable. So if the stupidcartray.com is running any additional sales, so you can stack that 15% on top. They said it's our small gift to the cookie people.
Nice. I love
but
my
if you want to
Super
text in 571-556-5644 and to my winner, which was it 281?
218.
No, 281.
281.
Corey just make something up.
I did.
Email me, heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com with the rest of your phone number, and I'll give you that link to
You got 7 days, girl.
7 days, girl, and then it expires.
And then it expires.
Moving on to the Cookie College. I know you're coming out with our next Cookie Class kit.
The next cookie?
Tell us what the Cookie College is.
Okay, what the Cookie College is a membership. If you're like, you know what? I want to focus on the value of my business in 2025 so I can start charging more. That is what the Cookie College is all about. It's everything marketing that we have done for our clients, but translated.
That's a great point. I would say most of the courses create a value added addition to your business. So we're saying like, hey, here's how to take photos. I know you're working on a Reels course. That's going to be the content, the better photography. And then I'm telling you how to make a website, how to make a custom email, how to print your 3D cookie cutters at home, which allows you to do more value added and lower cost because you're taking the price of the cutters home.
Absolutely.
In-house. So a lot of the focus of the Cookie College is those value added things, and none of it's really about skills of baking.
It's not.
You can throw in some like Dragon Eye
random
tutorial,
things, yeah.
But most of it is this value added increase, so you do not have to compete on price, and we charge accordingly. So I know it's not the cheapest thing, $76 a month. Why would we charge? Why would you not discount it so more people will sign up? Because the more people that sign up at $76, the more time we have to tell you how to increase your value.
Yeah.
Because I get a ton of emails, right? I get a ton of emails with questions or how to do this, how to switch that, how to change that, how to cancel this. And that's a ton of effort. But if I had 1,000 emails, I'm never gonna have time to
the people
increase.
that post in the private group, the Cookie College private group, wouldn't get the answers because Heather's doing all the admin tasks because there's too many people.
Right. So back to the value added. So if you say this year I would like to increase my value because I would like to increase my price, or I'd like to increase my value because I feel like I'm getting ghosted on price, or I'd like to increase my value because I had lowered my price when I wasn't coming from the self-esteem, was coming from the other's esteem, and I would like to get that back up, then the Cookie College is going to be that nice fit to up that value.
Yeah. But the Cookie College actually gets everything. That's always been our statement. So if we make something new, the Cookie College gets it, and that's where the value is at. So this week that we're in is the next Cookie Class Kits. The Cookie Class Kits is a membership in and of itself. How much is that per month?
$63.
It's $63, and there's different themes. You get a new theme each and every month. This theme is a Mother's Day theme. I made it yesterday.
So you may be saying, well, Mother's Day is so far away, girlies. We drop the themes at least a month and a half out, so you have that much time to promote the class.
Yes.
Source the cutters, get the colors.
Yeah, but what you get in the Cookie Class Kits is you get the photos. I take the photos. I have all the prompts.
That value. So you're able to purchase the value without having to invest in the Canon macro lens. How much is your camera set up to take those photos?
$4,000.
So instead of spending $4,000, Corey's like, I'll take the photos for you and I'll write the copy for you. So you don't have to take lessons on copy. Right. And that way you can fill seats. Now, Corey and I charge per seat $80, which is ridiculous because the average price is $50. You may say, well, maybe I should charge $50 to be competitive. Corey and I are competing on value. So we say, listen, there's 10 seats. We're going to sell out of these. We've already sold out of our class that's in April. Yeah. We started selling tickets for our class in August because we compete on value.
Yes.
And we can do that because of the photography. So Corey takes these really awesome photos, these really cute sets, and then I write this really fun copy, and then we actually use Eventbrite because I do like it as an event.
It keeps communication up. Which is great in class. The value that we can add in class is we have a script. We gave it to the Cookie College. It's something that me and Heather have memorized over the last 5 years.
It's still memorized. Corey and I, we can switch our roles.
But what it does is it keeps the vibes up in class. They're having a good time because there's no downtime. We've rehearsed the jokes. We know which ones land, which ones don't.
If someone comes and they've taken a class, we're going to say, I'm sorry, the jokes haven't changed, but your laugh is appreciated.
Yeah. So it's been great. If you want to teach classes, the heyday for classes is August to December.
I'm sorry, it's August, September, October, November, December.
Yes, it is. But what we say is get a few under your belt.
I agree.
A smaller class to start off with.
I would not want to do baptism by fire when you pack out a December class and it's your first one. You don't know what's going on. So somebody was like, my first class isn't selling well. And I was like, this is your first class ever? How many people are in it? 4? That's a perfect amount.
That's a perfect first class.
Yeah, you may even be operating, if you have a room rental cost, you may be operating at a net, neither gain nor loss, but you get the experience.
Yes.
And 4 people is so easy to manage.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
That would be fantastic. That's why.
The Mother's Day class.
Yeah.
A Mother's Day class. A class in a slower time. This is a cookie or slower time. We get through Easter, got a little bump, and then we get that doldrums of summer. Mm-hmm. That's a good time to get started, to source the room you want to rent.
Yeah.
Or see if you can do a partnership where you don't have to rent the room at all. And then to kind of figure out how Eventbrite works or post it to your website.
Get your feet wet in it. The Mother's Day class also makes for a great either set to sell or a DIY kit for the littles to decorate for their mom on that day.
Don't want to sell it to a mom? Sell it to somebody that's wow.
If you wow. Wow. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Listen, we're going to increase the value somewhere. If you guys want to sign up, if you sign up for the Cookie College or the class kits right now, you'd get that class because it'll drop on the 7th, assuming Corey sends it to me.
I'm working.
Okay. So you'll get that. And then if you sign up for the class kits, you get all of the 2025 classes, which will still be the 4th one.
Yeah.
And if you sign up for the Cookie College, you get all 28 classes, will be the 28th one.
Yeah. So you're like, 28. Why is there 4 and 28? The Cookie College gets all the classes in the past years, and this is our 3rd year of doing it. So there's tons and tons of classes.
Yeah, I love the class kits.
I hate making the class kits.
Corey hates making the class
Next
kits.
one after Mother's Day is Cinco de Mayo. So
Cinco de
that's
Mayo.
a little fun one.
That'll be a fun one.
Little fun one.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I know. They've been fun. I've enjoyed every single
They've
one.
been fun. I've scripted everyone.
I hate having to come up with the ideas because that is hard because you want to get everyone in mind.
Corey
but I enjoy
Corey makes it a
seeing them.
family event. She comes over to my mom's house. She says, everyone put your phones down. Everyone put your distractions away.
And I'm like, what do we think about this design?
Wow. We love it.
Wow.
So that is the Cookie College. It allows us to run this podcast. So thank you for the members who do pay into that. And I think it is a great buy. If someone's like, well, they just talk about themselves and how great it is, it's because it's great. It's great. If I don't believe it's great, I wouldn't be offering it to you.
There's that price and confidence we were talking about.
And I think if you took every one of those 83 classes, soon to be 84, and you implemented it, your business would look completely different.
It would.
Of that, I can be confident because I've implemented this stuff for a lot of businesses.
You're like, Heather, why are you so confident? The reason why we're confident is the thousands of bakers who have been in it.
Well, Corey and I say this, like in the marketing and social media and web development space, like Corey's like, the reason our biggest detriment is that we won't lie.
I know.
Because it'll be like, yeah, we can do that, but we can't do that because that doesn't make sense and that's not how it works, right? And you won't see the results that you're hoping from implementing this. So not only am I not going to charge you for it, I'm not going to offer it to you. And Corey's like, somebody's going to come in and offer that to them, even though they know they can't get the results they want. And they're going to get the sale.
For sure.
But they're also going to get the blowback. So what Corey and I say, the biggest boon, we're telling the truth because people have been in for 3.5 years.
Whatever happened in Vacation Bible School when me and Heather were 5, where they say, do not tell a lie, we have taken it to heart. I cannot tell it.
Is it George Washington? I said George Washington and Cherry Tree. Was that Lincoln?
Lincoln.
Who did Cherry Tree?
Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln.
Who president?
I think it was.
Cherry Tree. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Blank.
Wash.
No! Yeah. Washington and Cherry Tree. I get those. Anyways, moving on to our sponsors. Also, without the sponsors, this podcast would not exist. And we love our sponsors. First up is Royal Batch. So you're like, what is Royal Batch? Royal Batch is a meringue powder. If you're working with royal icing, the main ingredient in royal icing that makes it royal icing is a meringue powder. There's many different types out there. You're going to find a lot of people who prefer one over the other. I've tried them all.
I'm sorry, I looked up if Lincoln said anything about lying.
Yeah.
One quote, pretty good one.
Okay.
No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Especially with
Jangled
your
Webster
horrible
Wave.
memory. Anyways, Royal Batch is made by a company called Bakety Bake, and it is the meringue powder that I use. If you see any of my cookies, you're like, I like that puff that she has. It's because of Royal Batch. It's nothing that I did. Royal Batch has 3 main ingredients already in it, which is vanilla. So you don't have to add any to it, but if you wanted to, you too.
White food coloring.
White food coloring. I want to say some people like almond extract. If you put almond extract in your cookies and you have vanilla in the icing, that Whatever
I
that
thought
does
the
to your
almond
taste
extract
buds.
is a cilantro of the baking world.
Yeah, but a lot of people
They're
don't
not
taste
on the page.
cilantro. They have a very good experience with almond extract. Mother loves almond extract.
Almond
She does.
extract or no? Asking a poll on the page.
Okay, good.
Is there an almond emoji? Almond.
Is there an almond emoji?
It's kind of almondy. He looks like an acorn with no top.
Okay, I like it.
Almond extract. I'm just gonna say. Boop.
Okay, but it has white food coloring in it. It has vanilla extract, and it has corn syrup. What corn syrup does to royal icing, it gives it a softer bite. So if you just want it really good right out of the bag,
No, I want it really bad.
really bad. If you don't want to have to add a bunch of extra stuff, Royal Batch is the bee's knees. It is what I use for my cookies.
Code.
Twins saves you 10%.
Nice.
Yeah, and they have these now 2-ounce little packets. If you want to test it, you don't have to dive
Wilton's
deep.
is leaving you, it'd be a great place
Yeah.
to test something.
Yeah.
Eddie, edible food printer, a great way to add value, but definitely has a price. Somebody asked about this on the stupid questions
saw
thread.
that.
They said, should I get an Eddie? Should I take on debt or spend money and get the Eddie right now?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I've never sold anything that's Eddie, so I have nobody to sell it to.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Consider this as if you wanted an SBA loan, right? You would write a business plan because the SBA loan is like, I want to know that before I give you this money, you know how you're going to give it back to me.
Yes.
I would do the same thing for an Eddie. It's a direct-to-food printer. What's your plan to market this? Because Eddie is not if you buy it, they will. If you buy it, they will buy it. It is Eddie is if you buy it and you market it and market it and market it and market it, some will buy it, and
Yeah.
hopefully those are corporate orders.
Yeah.
How are you planning to market it? Now, Eddie is a $3,000 machine, direct-to-food printer, meaning stencils, very ornate designs, very complex logos. You can just print that right
Yeah.
out. You can pipe over it if you want to add the extra
Right.
pizzazz. Would you just buy one? Yes, I would, if I had the money. I'm not a big taker on debtor. If I had the money, I'd buy one. If I had a plan,
Yes.
I would buy one. And if I had started and I had a lot of my value added things in there, so I have a website where I can put the Eddie feature on it.
Yes.
If I had an order form, if I had a LinkedIn that I've been growing so I can reach those corporate orders, I would do that.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to buy an Eddie and then turn around to a community group and say, hey, any business owners, I bought this machine. It's a direct food printer, food safe ink. I would love to print your logo on a cookie
That's
to
a
use as an example.
Great marketing.
And you
tool.
guys get the cookies.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the marketing you're making off of that with the slim, you're just making
Imagine
circles.
running that as an ad on Facebook.
Oh,
You're looking at $100
absolutely.
in ad spent.
Yeah.
So that would be a cheaper way and a great way to market and pay for the Eddie if you wanted to buy him now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, allocate money from each sale towards your Eddie.
And then pay for them outright when you get the chance. Last but not least is the Backers Co. The Backers Co. is a way to transform your home into a photography studio without having to remodel the house.
Value saved.
Yeah. If you see any of the photos that I take, you can look on Mixing Bowl Cookie Company on Instagram. You can look in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. It's always taken on these 23 by 23 inch backdrops. These backdrops can transform your home into a small photography studio without remodeling the entire house, and they don't take up a ton of space. The reason why I do like them, I do like a rigid backdrop. The ones that roll
Don't
up
we all, girl?
have a roll when you take the photo.
That I hate.
And it's sometimes the roll sends the lighting.
Don't like that. I don't want to see
Don't
a
like
curled
that.
brick.
I don't like a
You don't
curl.
want a curled
I don't
brick.
like it. It's also matte, so there's no glare. It's food safe. That's the number one reason why I had actually originally found them, sought them out, and tested them. And I said, I like what you're making. It's waterproof, so if you spill eggs on it, I put an egg on one.
We're not spilling eggs
Yeah,
in this
I know.
academy.
I know. You could put chocolate sauce, and it washes right out.
Wild.
Yeah,
Whatever you and Nate do behind closed doors, we do not want to know.
Yeah, fantastic. But you can use code Sugar Cookie, save 20% off of that.
Nice.
I love them. If someone said, Corey, what's something you would suggest to help up my photography? It would 1,000% be a photography backdrop.
I think it's a great value addition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be on my standard issue.
Standard issue. It's almost like I don't know what to say outside of that because it's so foundational. Truly, it is the foundation of your photo.
Eye with our eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have the best cookie in the world, if the background is distracting or weird or
My son had his science project due, and they
so
said
you had your science project due?
I did, yeah. And it said post as many pictures on the board as you can. So I said, Archer, what pictures we got? He showed me this thing taken in his room. I said, no, son, not with these photography backdrops. Put two of the backdrops together, took the photos, we put them on.
Get it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
And what grade did you get?
We got an 88.
Not bad.
I left a question mark off of the title.
Also, he gave you less than 8 hours to produce.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I earned the 88. I was very happy with it.
Twinterest. We got one.
Do you have one?
This kitten. Turns out, I've not ever had a kitten before.
Yes.
Right. Insane. This thing.
I've forgotten about the kitten ways. Yeah. It's been so. My
constant
cat
entertainment
is 15, 14 years old. It's been a hot minute since I've been.
Yeah, he was a kitten. Rube.
And I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know.
So, anyways, this thing. Like, it's like, can you play with me at all times? If you're not playing with me, can you pet me? If you're not petting me, I'm going to scream.
When I left here last week, I appreciated the age of my elderly pets.
Right. So I'm like, last night I'm sitting on the floor. He's like meowing.
Yeah.
Because he just wants to be played with, and I'm trying to learn Procreate, and he's biting my Apple Pencil, which is like $100. So I said, you know what? He seems to like anything that's on a stick.
Yeah.
So I bought these 2 Amazon cat toys.
Yeah.
And one's this little fake mouse that runs under this little tarp.
Yeah.
And it looks like a mouse is trying to get away. Loved it. The other one is this real jiggly thing.
He liked that one.
Sorry. Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it bought me an hour apiece.
It's just a little baby. I love him to pieces. I love that I can leave.
Everyone's like, Gucci Goo, bye.
Yeah. That's what it's like if you had a kid. I'd be Gucci Goo, bye.
This is as close as we're getting, buddy.
It's very cute. Very cute little boy.
So, my Amazon purchases last night, they showed up on I ordered them at 9:30 last night. They were here this morning.
Value.
And you know what? In value and price, I did not buy the cheaper thing that would take till August 1st to get it to me. I bought the one that was more expensive because it would get to me tomorrow.
And then say.
I was insane.
Yeah. Insane.
Did they just go to the Petco and hand me? What is that, Petco? How did it get here so fast? Where did it come from? Where's the warehouse?
I guess my marketing nugget, I do like to support local businesses and Etsy shops. It's my favorite thing. I found this lady. She posted in a local community group to
This is your Twinterest or your marketing?
My Twinterest. It is marketing too. She makes custom stickers.
Oh.
And I said, what a way to support a local business. And if she likes me enough, she could support my business for me supporting her business.
A little covert contract.
Little covert contract. She doesn't know I bake cookies. Well, she knows now because it's in the business name. And she probably had to stare at it because I ordered 75 of them. So she's staring at
custom
it 75 times.
Are they your logos?
Yeah. They're in the mail. She's got a notification.
Fun.
Yeah, but so in turn, what it's going to allow me to do is give her a shout out.
I thought you were guilting me from buying on Amazon, which by all means, but whoa.
No, I'm just saying a little marketing.
Corey's like, unlike Heather,
who likes to support, big corporations. I like to support small business.
My Twinterest is supporting a local.
My Twinterest. That is all we have for you guys today. That was our fourth
battle,
day.
man.
That was
this
a battle.
was a battle.
Mr. Munch. We're naming him Dennis the Menace now.
Mr. Dennis Munch. Dennis Menace Munch.
Dennis Menace Munch. What a baby
You're
cake.
A wild man.
You love him.
Fine. Okay, now I can ramble because if you don't want to listen, you don't have to. I'm not pro negative reinforcement. I like to let things learn their own way. I don't like to punish to teach, right?
Okay.
Ruth Ann, she was like, I don't want him upstairs. I don't want a cat upstairs. And she's like, because I don't want to step on him. So it's a fair thing. So I was like, what you can do for animals is let them go upstairs but shut all the doors. When they realize there's nothing here, they don't come. And she's like, no, that's too kind. I want spike strips.
Spike strips.
Right. So it turns out you have them on your furniture.
I do have them on. I gave Rube. No, listen.
Rube's like 15 years, got his crutches out.
Rube has one chair I've given to her.
Okay.
There's no spikes on there. She has that chair.
So these little plastic, just thin little, it just makes it uncomfortable to walk on so they don't walk
right.
on. So Ruth Ann's like, I want the spike strips. And I'm like, okay. Like, she did, what are you going to say? Right? So I just deployed the spike strips. I got them on the 2 bottom stairs because this guy could have, once you get to the one, you're not going to get to the second. And he has stopped going upstairs. So he has no interest. And they're bright orange. So I thought, like, because she needs to see him.
Can cats see color?
No, I wanted Ruth Ann to see them. So
they're unsightly.
They're unsightly. It looks like a torture.
It looks like I'm entering a construction
Mikey said
zone.
Crimes of war.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's just temporarily. Why I kind of learned not to go up there. It's not my way of teaching. It's her house, though. Okay. So then I hear this loud crash. So the cat's sitting with me. So I'm like, what was that? So I yell up, is everything okay? And she's like, you know that we were injured and you don't. She was like, I'm fine. I said, oh, there's an I'm fine. I wasn't expecting a personal I'm fine. So I said, what happened? And she's like, I tried to jump She's
I would say
86.
she's
I tried to
86.
jump
Jumping
over 2 steps. 2 steps. So then I'm like, hey, listen, you're 1 hip replacement away from this being a massive problem. No jumping.
Right.
Look at her. She removes only 1 spike strip. I said, what are you doing right there? She's like, well, I was going to jump over 1. I said, we're not jumping at all at 86. There's no Olympics at 86.
1 foot
No.
on the ground all times.
Okay, please keep in mind, these are just little plastic
Yeah.
sheets. They're not anchored to
No.
anything. On Sunday, I thought we'd learned a lesson. On Sunday, she steps on them. They just deflated, but also they're slippery. And I said, woman, what we got to do to teach you a lesson? I think we're not teaching the cat no more. We're teaching
At
you.
86, when you no longer work and you're retired, you create your own struggles.
She creates them. She found it. She was like, I'm going to make these spike strips. So then she was like, I think the cat has learned, so I'm not going to put the spike strips. He immediately went upstairs. I said, lady, it'll be the death of me. I said, I can't think for the 3 of us.
Let's go eat. I'm so hungry.